Whilst there is much more to losing weight than simply how many calories you eat, it is still an important part of the equation. So let's explain this in more detail. Just like a car needs fuel to go, this energy in food is represented as either calories or kilojoules. Some countries use calories and some use kilojoules. As a general rule, 4 kilojoules equals 1 calorie, roughly. For example, 100 calories is the same as roughly 400 kilojoules. So you can now convert them easily yourself when you're looking at the back of packages. So that is energy going into our bodies via calories or kilojoules. But when we go about our lives, we're also burning calories. We're using that fuel that we've now put into our bodies. And we do this in a variety of ways. Most of the energy we use is simply from our bodies just doing its usual processes, like pumping blood around, using our brains and breathing, and this is called our basal metabolic rate, or BMR, which I discussed in a previous video. This accounts for between 60 to 75% of the daily energy we use, so it's the vast majority of the energy we use. The rest of the energy is from using extra body movements or studying and using our brain a little bit more. And so that is energy going out. So now we have a simple equation. We have the energy we put into our body and the energy we use. And then the difference between the two can either be we have taken in more energy than we need, or less, or the same amount. If we consistently take in more energy, like food calories, and don't burn that energy off, we have now an excess of energy, and that is stored as fat. It's important to understand that fat is simply the body's way of storing energy for later use. Basically, the body is reserving that energy as fat. So if there comes a time when you don't get enough food, it will use that fat as an energy source and you can survive longer. So for example, let's say a couple of potatoes are 140 calories and we walk 3 kilometers, we burn 150 calories. Then we're about neutral. But if we have that same number of potatoes and we sit down all day, we have 150 extra calories which now get stored as fat, because fat is the body's way of storing that excess energy. And if you use more energy than you take in by either increasing your activity levels or reducing your food intake, then you're going to have a deficit of calories and you'll lose weight. The total amount of energy a person should have a day depends on your gender, your body build, and how active you are. This can range from about 1,800 calories or 7,600 kilojoules a day for inactive women to 3,000 calories or about 13,000 kilojoules a day for an active man. You can calculate this easily for yourself by Googling BMR calculator or basal metabolic rate calculator. Obviously, if you want to lose weight, you're going to need to be in a calorie deficit, which means you are using more than you're putting in. If we want to lose 2 kilograms a month, which would be about 24 kilograms a year, 2 kilograms a month doesn't sound like a lot, but 24 kilos a year is really impressive. That generally means we need to be in a calorie deficit of 500 less calories a day or 3,500 less calories a week. So that might mean eating 500 less calories a day or burning 500 more calories a day with a combination of both exercise and eating less. Or we could live normally for a few days, so to speak, of the week and then have 1,000 less calories on select days, meaning we still have 3,500 less calories overall in a week. There are lots of ways to achieve this, but overall you have to be in a calorie deficit.